Hey there, you've reached Techno Toy Tuning. If you're calling between December 24th and Friday the 2nd, congratulations! You've caught us with the lights off, the welder's cold, the CNC machine's quiet, and the entire crew temporarily swapped off for family, food, and projects that definitely won't fit back into the car later. We'll be back to normal hours on Monday, January 5th, refreshed, recaffeinated, and ready to get back to building parts for cars that are awesome. Feel free to send us an email at info@technotoytuning.com. Drop us a letter off via carrier pigeon, or place an order online, and we'll get back to you as soon as we're back in the shop. Thanks for calling Techno Toy Tuning, and happy holidays.
Techno Toy Tuning sent out a replacement front crossmember for me, and it arrived here on Thursday, which was the 22nd of January. So I had to wait about a month-ish for this to get made and be sent out to me. No problem. I moved on and started getting ready for my next go around with things, which is going to be putting the doors and latches and that kind of stuff back together. So while I was getting that ready, this was being made and sent to me. Here's the one they originally sent me, the first one. And if you remember from my video from the installation, these will drop in. This one dropped right in on the passenger side, but I had to force it in a bit on the driver's side. Now here's something that's interesting. This is the replacement one. So once again, drops right in. Now watch this. I'd have to force it on this side now. And then more interestingly, it drops right in on the driver's side now. So this one is welded differently than this one. However, you flip them back over. Okay. You can see my original one here for the car in the background, and you can see that the rack drops right on those perches, no problem. No gaps. You throw the clamps on here, you're good to go. We all know from that one video that I can't do that with the one they sent me. Because of the gap here, these standoffs or brackets moved when they were welding. So they're a little bit crooked. They're out by about 1/8 of an inch. And here's where things get a little more interesting. Here's the one they just sent me. Same problem. Push it down on one side, the other side pops out. See? So, get one side in, the other side pops out. So these are off again also. So I have emailed them and showed them the video, and they're going to send me a third cross member, and I'm going to send these back. And in my email, what I would like for them to do is evaluate these. I believe, this is what I believe the jig that they use to hold these pieces in place when they get welded together is off. Because why else would I have two separate pieces that are both off about the same amount? Unless it's the jig that's the problem. So I'm gonna help Techno Toy Tuning get this solved. I'm gonna get one out to my house that's, ready to go. And this will also solve problems for people in the future that won't have to deal with this. It is a little frustrating, but they are stepping up, and I didn't have any doubts they would. They've been an amazing company to deal with so far. So what I'm going to do in the interim, because I'm tired of having my car sitting here on jack stands way longer than I wanted it to be, is I'm going to put my original cross member back under the car to hold the suspension pieces in place so that I can put the wheels on the front and get the car on the ground. And I'm going to put it on those dollies so that I can push it off to the side for storage purposes against the wall. And once it's down, I'm also going to put the hood back on. I have it leaning up against the wall over here. So I'm going to go ahead and get the original one in the car so I can get it put on these roll around dollies. I'm going to move my toolbox again and get the car up against the wall over here so that I can finally get my 82 Datsun Sentra back inside the garage, because I cannot stand it sitting outside. Even though it's well covered up with a weatherproof cover, I just don't like having it outside because the moisture makes it, well, it'll make it rust faster. So none of that's ideal. I'm waiting on one more batch of parts to arrive for this. So what I'm going to do in my next video is I'm going to show how to put together the doors. That's going to be the latch, the locks, linkages, door handles, the driver's mirror, the window frames, the regulators, all of that. I'm also going to show how to replace the belt molding rubber and still reuse the factory stainless steel pieces that they attach to that I've polished. So everything you see with painter's tape over it is a polished piece of stainless steel, and that's just to keep it from getting marred up during storage and installation. So that's what I'm going to be doing in my next video, and I'm also going to go over how to install some of the weather stripping, including the quarter glass weather stripping. I'm going to do a detailed video on how to do all of that. So time to get back under the car, get this piece installed, and then my plans are when the third one shows up, make sure once again that it's, the rack can sit on it no problem. I'm going to put it in the car off camera, and then I'm going to pick right back up where we left off by installing the rack, going over the setup of the outer tie rod ends and the installation of the front sway bar. And then that'll wrap up the front of the car. But in the meantime, I got to get it down off of these stands and get it on its tires. So that is the state of Project Z as of today, which is January 24th, 2026. As you know, I love a good game of shop press Jenga. And in addition to that, I also play this dangerous game, which is called floor jack Jenga. How many pieces of wood can I stack on it to get my car up off the super tall jack stands? Probably not the smartest game to play. Vin Diesel. So there you have it. Everything's back in the garage like it should be, but believe it or not, with the Z being on its dollies, it's actually sticking out a little further into the walkway than it used to when it was on the body dolly. And that's because the little dollies that it's on now keeps it further away from the wall because of how much space they take up, and they also stick out a little further into the walkway than the car did when it was up on that dolly. So that was one aspect I didn't really see coming. I did see the lack of storage space because the car's not up in the air, so there's not as much storage space underneath to be able to store all of its own parts underneath of it. I still can store some parts inside of it, and right now I do have some parts inside of it. My pieces that I was waiting on the last bit that I think I'm going to need to be able to get the doors and windows and all that put back together. That arrived this afternoon, so I think I have everything I need. I still need to finish polishing up some of the stainless pieces for the quarter glass, and I'm pretty sure I'm going to have to acquire like a rubber contact cement of some sort, or even like a glass sealer, because the weather stripping gets glued on in places, and it also gets like a sealer put on it in between the rubber and the body of the car, and at least that and the frame itself. So the rubber between the rubber and the frame and the rubber and the body of the car has a sealer on it, and at least it was that way when I tore it apart. And I want to make sure I do my research to put the right stuff back in so that I don't wind up with any water leaks, because that's a lot of work to go through only to wind up with a water leak at the end of it. I did not take pictures of the doors as I took them apart, so that was a bad oversight. I am going to have to figure out how to put them back together using my factory service manual and my memory, which good luck with that. So I may struggle a bit on the next venture here. Anyway, I have the Sentra back in the garage where it belongs. I do need to wipe it down a little bit with some waterless car wash, clean it up just a little bit, and probably take it out to a Cars and Coffee event tomorrow morning, just to get it out and run it. I did run my Miata today, and I also ran my 1998 Nissan Frontier today. So I actually had run all of my cars that are running. You know, the 240Z is obviously not running, but everything else is. So, and it has to be run every once in a while. I have 5 cars. I don't know if I've ever mentioned that. If you have any interest in hearing about my other cars, my 2008 Mazda Miata, my 1998 Nissan Frontier pickup, 4-wheel drive, 5-speed. It's a king cab, so 6.5 foot bed, pretty nice truck. And of course, you've known Project Z, and you've known about my 82 Datsun. So if you want to know about those, and my daily driver, which is a red 2008 Toyota Yaris, if you have any interest in learning about any of those cars whatsoever and what I've done with them over the years, put down in the comments below. If I get enough interest, I'll make a video on each of those. They're not Datsuns, but that's what I have. I also have a go-kart that I built. I'm pretty sure you've seen that in the background in some of my videos. That thing's a blast. I take it for a spin every now and again. If you want to see a video on my go-kart, again, it's not a Datsun, but if there's enough interest, I'll make a video on it. That's all I have for you, unfortunately. Thanks for watching, as always, and I'll see you on the next video as soon as I'm ready to put my doors together, and I'll make a nice detailed video on how to do that. Take care.